Hello, hockey, basketball, and soccer fans. My name is David. Thought I would start this video at 5:43 on the afternoon of Monday, 24th of June, Eastern Time. 5:43 Mountain Time. So I'm going to make this video developments involving three separate Canadian NHL teams. So I'm going to start with the Oilers, and yes, destined to potentially make history, to become just the second team to come back from a 3-0 deficit in terms of games in a Stanley Cup final. After my hometown Leafs had done the same against the Red Wings to end off the 1941-42 NHL season. Yeah, an incredible journey. Neither of my parents have been born, although my dad's older sister had been by then. Well, he had two sisters. The older of the two having been born in 1940. The other would be born later in the 1940s. He himself would only be born in the 1950s. And yes, the Leafs ended up winning the Stanley Cup, last one Stanley Cup, only during the year before he would turn 18. So yes, I know the Leafs are haven't even been to a Stanley Cup final for quite some time. Close to having they ended up having since post 1967 having been within one game of a cup appearance via a 7-game loss of a conference final to the LA Kings, when the Leafs and Kings had both been in the Campbell Conference, which would, the season after the 92-93 one, be renamed the Western Conference. So yeah, after that, so we're going to come back to the Leafs a little bit later, but yeah, the Oilers, Game 1, or Game 7, on all 4 sports and regional channels, i.e. Pacific, West, Ontario, and East, 8 Eastern Time broadcast start time. Definitely looking forward to watching that game. The Oilers are not the Habs. The Habs have won 10 post 1967 cups, more than any of the remaining Canadian teams. The Oilers have won multiple Stanley Cups, and have won the most post 1967 cups among non-Habs Canadian teams. But again, definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully that'll happen. But again, the Panthers are probably not going to quit. So now I'm going to move further east and talk about the ugly Rucker McGroarty saga. It's going to see what it is here. There was I believe the Jets drafted McGroarty in the first round of the 2022 NHL draft. So yeah, I was a winger for University of Michigan, men's ice hockey team. It's originally from Lincoln, in the capital, the American state of Nebraska, and located in the southeastern part of that state. So yeah, it's originally from there. So the center winger, he was drafted 14th in the 2022 NHL draft, and there's talk of that that McGroarty may not want to play for the Winnipeg Jets, and that's a very interesting thing because and now the question is, what on earth happened to McGroarty? So it's a very interesting news headline, article written by Kelly Moore of Winnipeg radio station 680 C-Job. Supposed quote differing views, unquote, according to Mr. Moore, on the path the center winger would take to get playing NHL non-preseason games. Very interesting radio clip there. I don't mean. That draft took place just under 2 years ago. It was in July of 2022. After the end of a season whose start had been delayed a little bit because of the knock-on effect of a major disruption to the end of the 2019-20 season, which was kind of postponed from the end of it was postponed from kind of sometime in June to sometime in September. Very unusual. Play did resume in August 2020. So there's been already videos about McGroarty as well. Very interesting one from some also from a couple of episodes of the Locked On Winnipeg Jets podcast, part of the Locked On Sports Series of podcast, with claims from Harrison Lee, who, as far as I'm aware, has been the only host of that Jets themed podcast. Well, what the Jets should get for what should try to aim for in a McGroarty trade. Who knows what's going to happen, but the whole saga is ugly. Pexy Hockey YouTube man, based in BC's Lower Mainland, and fan of the Jets, even if also one of the Jets' biggest critics, most prominent critics among YouTubers. No doubt, the McGroarty saga is an ugly one. And again, it'll be interesting to find out what happens, particularly because the Jets team has just been, defense has been so bad during the postseason. The last night, again, regular season, seemed to be, much better regular season, an incredible regular season, 2022, 23, 24. The Jets ended up finishing in second in the Central Division, but number one on points among Canadian NHL teams, even better than the Canucks. But how far did the Canucks get among Western Canadian teams? Well, ending up taking the Oilers to 7 games, and quite a few close ones. What did the Winnipeg Jets do? Well, they had one close game, which they ended up winning, 7-6 in regulation. But there's no denying that for 9 straight playoff games, the Jets have given up at least this many goals. I put up various short videos about in different points in the during the April Avs Jets playoff series about how the Winnipeg Jets had just thrown defense under the bus, and that if the Jets were not to have improved their defense from having allowed 6 goals in game 1, were they going to even win another game in the series? Or were they going to win that series? Well, the defense, the flawed defensive structure certainly meant no more win of even 1 game. So I don't know what's going to happen with the McGroarty trade, but if I were a fan of the Jets, and I was an honorary one, we'll simply cheering for any non-Habs Canadian team, given the Habs have won this many post-1967 Cups, more than any of the remaining Canadian teams. It's just that I would definitely like to think wanting, for McGroarty trade, like why not, get some, relatively competent defensemen. They don't have to be the highest quality in the world, but better than what the team has. So what we do is, what do the Winnipeg Jets have in terms of their roster? All right, so 2023-24 Winnipeg Jets hockey reference. So I'm going to go to, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go, I'm going to see here about the, all right, Winnipeg Jets here. I don't know what's going on with the Winnipeg Jets here. Oh. Let me just go here. Just going to sort of technical difficulties. Just going to see who the gonna see who's gonna try to put him in there and just yeah, these earpods, AirPods, the new version 3 leave, like they're kind of narrow. It's very difficult to keep it in the ears, but maybe I'll do it just to like a little coating in there, all that. So yeah, I'm gonna do just go share to the group there. So we're just gonna do so yeah, so very interesting here. There's some, the rumors about Brandon Dillon, wanting to go to another team potentially, but whatever it is, just, the question is, which leaves, the Jets definitely need a beefier blue line, at least one that's better, better able to counter postseason opposition attacks. In terms of odd man rushes, and also just basically off the cycle and the board battles. But again, who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be very interesting. But this McGroarty saga is ugly, and it'll be interesting to find out what happens going forward in terms of prospect management, because like prospects are should be part of a team's future, and at least most of them anyway. At least like these first and second rounders should be. Third rounders and below, there may not be as many, but first and second rounders, a team should keep as many of those as possible. But again, they are batty about draft currency and all. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to find out what happens with Winnipeg Jets, and yeah, see more later about the various preseason schedules that have been posted if I can find them. So I'm going to go to now the third team. We'll talk about the Leafs, and yeah, Mitch Marner. We'll talk about trading the winger. It just has been talked about whether the Leafs should extend him, should extend him effective at some point in July. I really hope that the Leafs do offer Marner an extension. It will be as part of a sign and trade. Marner has been a very consistent playoff performer, and really put up just 3 points, one of them a goal, during the Leafs-Bruins 2024 playoff series. And yes, those Leafs, definitely, arguably, unlike the Winnipeg Jets, did play quite a few games during which they did not give up at least 3 goals in each. Still, the lack of offense, the power play with was just crap. And then the Leafs ended up losing. So I hope very much, the Leafs will move on from Marner, because they got some needs, and use that his nearly $11 million per season cap hit that remains wisely. It may not be a complete revamp, but there has to be changes. There's no question. Ilya Samsonov was crap this past season. There were times when I thought the Leafs weren't even going to see playoff action because of how much Samsonov had been a sieve. One of the games, the Leafs have been down 5-0 at the end of the second period against the Blue Jackets, ended up salvaging a point from that game because of a big comeback in the third period. The Blue Jackets had a very poor regular season, finishing, I believe, dead last in the Metro Division. But again, the Leafs just cannot keep running back the same core five of Austin Matthews, Will Nylander, Mitch Marner, Morgan Riley, John Tavares. How many of them will move off of? I don't know. There's a episode earlier this week or over the weekend of Leafs Convo. That featured discussion between co-hosts Michael Jello and Norma James about what the Leafs do about Marner, the goaltending and all. Just, it's time to move on. Congrats for living. I hope you're hearing this message. It's time to move on from Marner. Marner may be a very effective regular season player, but in the postseason, that's what the Leafs need. The Jets may very well, definitely under pressure to make changes from their own fans. I mean, there was talk, in the regular season about whether the Jets were going to relocate. Eventually, if they didn't have sellout crowds, anywhere near sellout crowds. I mean, at least the Leafs can fill the building, fill most home games. But again, I just want to see the Leafs a different team, a radically different team. I mean, at least I know that to not expect too much playoff success, but really, the Leafs got to aim for a Stanley Cup. That's what they got to do. They got to build towards that and do it properly this time, and not try to make shortcuts. But what they do, who knows? So now I'm going to go to various preseason schedules, and they've been posted on the Twitter pages of those teams. I'm going to believe all of them have been. I don't know. I have to check them out. Maybe other than the Flames and others, but I'll see what they are, and I try to post as many of them as I can. Definitely looking forward to watching. So just recap. So I discussed in this video the Game 7 of the 2024 Stanley Cup Final. The others potentially on the cusp of making history. Well, the ugly McGroarty saga enveloping the Winnipeg Jets. The Leafs. What the Leafs should do about Mitch Marner. And just forgot to mention that as well, that Joe Woll was likely to sign a multi-season contract with a per-season cap anywhere between $3 and $4 million US. Way too much in my view. Should have been $2 million per season cap for those 3 seasons, and see what Woll was going to have, was going to give the Leafs. But again, let's see what happens. I mean, Woll's been injury prone, so it's very interesting what happens. And yeah, most of the teams, I believe all the Canadian NHL teams, bar the Alberta ones, have posted their preseason schedules for 2024 on their Twitter pages. I'm definitely looking forward to those postings of the preseason games for the Alberta teams, and also regular season schedules for all 7 Canadian teams. I'm definitely going to try to watch as many of those preseason and regular season games that involve Canadian teams, particularly if the Leafs are not involved. And it shouldn't be too much of an issue. There are a lot of games out there that are they're on so many evenings or so. There's so many games that are being played that on certain nights. There'll be probably some Saturday evening Eastern time to feature all 7 Canadian teams in action. There are others that are certainly at least 4 in action throughout the day, and all that. Definitely looking forward to that. To those, I do have a subscription to NHL Center Ice. Just not, I'm not saying go get it or go not get it, but I found this TV subscription very useful, because I do predict again there'll be some games that will only be available regionally, including all the TSN channels, which is the case with most games that are played by the Winnipeg Jets, Ottawa Senators, and Montreal Canadiens, or the Habs, I like to call them. TSN games, so the TSN channels, Leafs as well, the odd one, they're now and again. Even though the Sportsnet games are only telecast regionally, a lot of Canucks games broadcast or that. And in terms of the Alberta teams, kind of hit and miss in the regular season. Postseason, all games are broadcast on Sportsnet, or at least they're available on the Sportsnet app with a valid TV subscription. But on actual TV, it really depends. Because again, it is yeah, game. The first round of the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs, there were, what was it, 4 Canadian teams in action, and each of them, and none of them having played games against one another. So there were some very interesting combos. There was some on channels, the various channels, City TV, CBC, depending on the game. It was just like a huge overflow because there were so many games on all at once. Well, I'm hoping that the NHL will create more excitement, and during the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs, depending on how many Canadian teams end up there, at least on the weekends, maybe have some daytime Eastern time games. I mean, get fans excited and all that, but I don't know what's gonna happen. Or maybe have stacked on afternoon, evening. Have all the Canadian teams play one inning, whatever. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be very interesting what happens during the 2024-25 NHL season. I mean, this past season, and over the season that is to end, whose last game will take place starting in just a couple hours after this video goes up. 4 Canadian teams will have qualified for postseason play. How many qualify next season for next season's for 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs? Hard to know. There's so many question marks about those teams. I mean the Canucks. It's quite possible Nikita Zadorov will be walking into unrestricted free agency, and the Canucks will have to try to find a replacement for him. Who knows what's going to happen? It's just off-season, just crazy. I'm relieved I'm not a GM, so at least I can just sit back and just read all the developments. I don't envy what those GMs have to do to try to shore up the teams, but it's going to be very interesting off-season, and free agent frenzy on Canada Day Eastern Time. Oh boy, it's going to be interesting. How the Canadian teams end up at least trying to adjust their rosters to get ready for preseason play, and then the regular season. It'll be very interesting to find out. After all, it's the draft's coming up, to end off this month. I think it's later on this week. So I'm going to end this off. So I do encourage anyone who likes the video to click the like button, wants to subscribe to the video, to subscribe for each of these to do, and it's free to do. And subscribing to the video means getting the video means getting that video out there to getting videos out there that I produce out to more members of the ice hockey community, at least fans of the game, particularly if of Canadian teams. And anyone who wants more timely notifications of videos that I put out on YouTube, to click the notification bell. I try to put out videos, whether short or long ones, multiple times a week. And on that note, I'm going to say, with respect to the Stanley Cup playoffs, Warriors go. With respect to much of the rest of the hockey, basketball, and soccer seasons, go Leafs go Raptors go Toronto FC go. And with respect to other Canadian national teams for which I cheer, go Canada go.